From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning on Mornings LALATE as Democrat after Democrat comes out and says they're giving you an MSC in this fourth stimulus check updated 2021 world exclusive as we go over Coons, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, and Wyden telling viewers of this channel they're giving you an IRS MSD in the fourth stimulus recon. And then AOC and Jayalapal saying the same as viewer after viewer after viewer reports their updates. It's world exclusive. You're hearing only on this channel about that fourth stimulus recon. Then we cut to the first 645 pages of that reconciliation budget bill, and there's checks of all kinds for you. Hazard pay, essential workers, $51,000 of MSCs, $4,000 to care for the elderly, money for a bike, money for a vehicle, money for a car. And then we cut to cluster number 2 and cluster number 3. The president wants money to repair your home, money for seniors, SSI, SSDI, workers, and more. And then, out of nowhere, a big shocker as an additional $13 billion is landing in cities and counties and states for rent and utilities right now. Whoa, where did this come from? It's a big morning with a lot of world exclusives. As the Democrats say they're doing an MSC, I have all the incredible details. World exclusives starting right now because the toast is toasted, the butter is buttering, and the surf is up on Mornings LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I hope the weather is good where you are. It's starting to warm up again here along the coast after a couple of very cold days. But in this recording, we'll go over the comments after comments from senators and House members, staffers, to the viewers of this channel. The list is growing as they continue to say they're giving you a monthly IRS stimulus check in this fourth stimulus recon. I'll go over their comments to the viewers in this recording. Then we cut to the first 645 pages of that reconciliation bill released. Deliciousness, checks for hazard pay, workers, bikes, everything, including home repairs. Cluster number 2, checks for staying at home, $1,700 of paid sick leave. And then cluster number 3, including free internet and checks for seniors. And then the big shocker that no one saw coming. An additional $13 billion coming to your states and cities for third stimulus. It's a big morning. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Coming up next at 10 a.m. is Mornings Crypto, a show you don't want to miss because Wall Street is down 1%, falling $500 today, and that means crypto is crashing as well. Then I'm back at 11 a.m. with more noontime LALATE, then a whole slot of programming starting at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 5 o'clock as well. Subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family with 400,000 subscribers in 1 year. Next stop, 1 million. Thank you for last week being our biggest week of this channel in nearly 3 months. Let's do it again. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member so you get access to all the big money in this first, second, and third stimulus. Wow, let's go over all the incredible details of this MSC, getting right into it right now. As the list has now grown from Coons, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, Wyden, AOC, and Jayalapal, it started 8 weeks ago as one of the long-standing viewers of this channel, WR, picked up the phone and advocated for a stimulus check, calling up Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's old confidant, and advocating for a stimulus check. Staffer said, yes, Senator Chris Coons will be doing it. Then Brother Joshua, 3 weeks ago, picking up the phone and advocating, I need a stimulus check for my church, for my family, for my community, advocating impassionedly with Bernie Sanders' staff. And they said, yes, monthly stimulus check, $1,000 to $1,400, 3 to 6 months. The push continued as we saw the floodgates open nearly a few days ago when wonderful viewer Donnie picked up the phone and advocated impassionately with Bernie Sanders' office, saying why he needs a stimulus check and how it would help him. This is the comment from Donnie. I called Senator Bernie Sanders' office and advocated. I said, this is why I need it. It would help me. It would help me pay my water bill and everything else. My city needs it. And they said they're doing a forced stimulus check. Then came the impassioned plea by Hurricane Tina. Said, I called Bernie Sanders' office, and they said they're doing a forced stimulus check. Morning's Countdown. Carolyn Smith explained that people are losing their homes. This is what they're losing what they got. We need this. I told Bernie Sanders' office, and they said they're putting a forced stimulus recon in there. And then Yaya calling up Ron Wyden's office, advocating for it, and they said they're doing it and considering SS200 as well. But then we saw Will take it to another level. Will said that I didn't just call one place, I called three places. I called Senator Bernie Sanders' office, Elizabeth Warren's office, Chuck Schumer's office, and Liz Warren staffer told Will that she is considering $1,400 to $2,000, 6 to 12 months. We're not done there because Lorica picked up the phone and called Senator Bob Casey, and he said they're negotiating the price right now. She advocated for it, and so did Paul. Real back advocation. And Paul did what I said, pick up the phone and call the other side, the House side. And Paul did. He called AOC, and AOC's staff said $1,000 a month. After the first month of 2000 for 12 months. AOC wants to do the House bill. And then late yesterday, wonderful comment by Janice saying she picked up the phone and called Jayalapal and advocated for her as well. And Jayalapal said, yes, here you go. Coons to WR, Sanders to Brother Joshua, Warren to Will, Schumer to Will, Casey to Lorica, Wyden to Yaya, then AOC with Paul and Jayalapal with Janice, because this is what we do. This is advocacy at its best on LA. More about this in a second. But let's cut to the first 645 pages of that reconciliation bill released, and it's checks for you. Incredible, delicious checks. Let's go over what those checks are starting right now. Broadly, I want you to understand that the recon has nothing to do with COVID, so you do not have to endure anything COVID to be eligible for this money. What's in the first 645 pages? Money for hazard pay, money for seniors, money for bikes, vehicles, cars, money to repair your home, money for students, $51,000 of MSCs. Let's go over all the details, starting with the very first check, hazard pay. This channel advocated for hazard pay like no other place in 2020, nearly 300 videos. And then in third stimulus, they got hazard pay in there, essential workers, by modifying an old tax code called the Earned Income Tax Credit. They broadened the eligibility so more people qualify and then increased the payout. Well, guess what? Under fourth stimulus recon, they make this lifetime. So if you continue to be an essential worker, fall within the zone of eligibility for the hazard pay, you would get this every year. Check number two, big shocker. No one saw this coming. It's up to $4,000 a year to care for an elderly person. This is huge. If you're a home health care or a care provider for an elderly person in your home, this is huge. It got in there from Representative Richard Neal, head of House Ways and Means, on no one's radar, slid right in there. And guess what? The flip side is in there as well. If you care for a young child, up to $4,000 a year. Wow. Then, what about money for my students? There's money in there for you as well. They have new grants for college students, either directly to you or to the university, and they're making the Pell's grant tax-free. How about the home? They have money in there to repair a home if you're in a low-income community. And what about $51,000 of monthly stimulus checks, MSCs? Oh, yes, it's in there. They're taking the provisions of the third stimulus and they're making it a lifetime. So if you're a parent of if you're a parent in a low-income family and you just gave birth, for every year that family remains a low-income based family, you will get upwards of $300 a month per child every month, every year for 18 years, which is $51,000. Wow, this is huge. This is really, really huge. Then what about money for bikes, vehicles, and cars and trucks? It's in there as well. So if you want to buy a new electric bike, the federal government will pick up 15% of the price tag. If you want to buy a new electric vehicle for personal use, the federal government will give you up to $7,500 for the purchase of that car. The U.S., number 3 on your manufacturers. If you want to purchase a new electric vehicle for business use, the federal government will pay you a little bit even more. And if you want to purchase a new electric vehicle for the electric truck for personal business use, the federal government will pick up a percentage of that as well, approximately $7,500. Wow. There's two other clusters I have for you as well. Cluster number 2 are the next 12 checks that are detailed day in, day out by the Senate and House Democrats. They talk about it daily, so they're getting it into the recon. They're just going over the terms and conditions. Cluster number 3's checks, which I'm going to get to shortly thereafter, are the president's checks, the ones he wants in there. They're getting in there. For seniors, also medicine, also workers, and also free internet. But what are these 645 pages? Let me explain the first 645 pages of this reconciliation budget bill. The Democrats, House, and Senate negotiate this. They do it behind closed doors or on the telephone or in their offices, not on C-SPAN, not on the House floor, not on the Senate floor, and not on TV and not on TikTok. They pick up the phone and say, what do you think about $4,000 a year to care for the elderly? I like that. Go write it up. What about the bike? 15%? Yeah, go write it up. Once they have enough provisions, they say, go write it up. And these first 645 pages are the ones they agreed to go write them up. The next cluster checks, which I'm going to go over a second, are the ones they want to do, but they haven't written it up. They're going over the terms and conditions right now. And the same thing with cluster number 3. Well, let's take a break and take this big surprise that no one saw coming. I did not see this coming. $13 billion coming to your cities and counties for rent, utility, food, and internet. This is huge. Every single county and state will have money for you, 100% guaranteed, whether it's Republican or Democratic state, every single state for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, starting approximately this week. The federal government identified an additional $13 billion from third stimulus they're sending out. And here is the statement. Treasury is happy to provide these additional state and local governments this extra resource is $13 billion to provide Americans in need of rental assistance. There you go. An additional $13 billion landing in your cities and counties and states this week. I'll have more about that in a second. But let's get some more checks. Let's turn to cluster number 2. These 12 checks are the checks that the Democrats talk about every single day, and they're getting in there. The check number 1 is paid family and medical leave. What is this? Paid family leave is your spouse is pregnant. Paid medical leave is your child broke his leg. How much does it pay? A lot. Under third stimulus, it was going to pay $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. Let's split it in half. $35,000 a year, $800 a week. Split it in half again. $15,000 a year annual income, $400 a week. Yes, it's a lot of money. Cluster number 2, check number 2, building up child care program. Number 3, household tax credits, including enhanced child care credit. Number 4, weatherization of your home. This is the second check about your home. This one's weatherization. Definitely needed when there's purple hawks up above. Weatherization of your home is things like if you have to do certain things to your home because you're in a hurricane or tornado or a fire area or a flood zone. There you go. Huge. Then we have checks for Medicare benefits, including dental checks, vision checks, hearing checks, checks for elderly. More about that also in the third cluster. And then affordable care subsidy checks. And then comes our checks for education. More checks for education. Universal pre-kindergarten. So pre-kindergarten will be free. The federal government will pick up the price tag. And then the next one I personally love. There's always a viewer who says, I don't understand what LATE's saying. He just talks funny, strange accent. Well, guess what? You can take the very popular new class at your local community college called What the World is LATE Saying? 101. Pardon my French. Yes, free tuition community college. So you'll never have to guess what I'm saying. Then they got checks for green energy and more. Wow. Now, this is huge. The reason why this has not been written yet in the recon is because they're going over the terms. And the House is back in session today. The House and now Senate are back in session. That means nothing for writing, nothing for negotiating, because they don't negotiate on the House or Senate floor. They do it behind closed doors. Now, remember, the House and Senate Democrats have been in town this entire time. They've been negotiating across the board. But now that they're in session, all the eyes of focus is on them. I think it's time for cluster number 3. Are you ready for cluster number 3? Cluster number 3, I have a big surprise for the first time on Mornings LA starting right now. You are going to be really happy about this, and you're going to hear this nowhere else. This is almost a world exclusive, so I don't think you're going to hear this anywhere else. Cluster number 3 has free school meals for checks, free school meals for all checks, tax break checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, checks for farmers, checks for free internet, checks for clean energy, checks for workers like independent contractors, checks for seniors like Medicare, checks for dental, checks for lowering for hearing, checks for lowering the eligibility age for seniors Medicare as well. What's the big shocker? The big shocker is that one of the checks, which I never cover in this cluster, got removed overnight. This is big for you because in this cluster, there was one check which I never read on camera because it doesn't really concern you. And the parliamentarian, the Senate parliamentarian last night ruled that you cannot have this in the budget bill. Again, it's not a check for you. It's a check that doesn't concern you. It was $109 billion to Department of Judiciary, to the Judiciary Department. And they said, the Senate parliamentarian says it cannot go in there. This is big for you because that's an additional $109 billion now available. Excuse me, $107 billion. Add an extra $2 billion in there. An extra $107 billion now available to disperse on other things like Things for You. Wow. You're only hearing this on this channel. All right. What are those 2 items also in that third cluster that are nearly automatic? First, the internet. They're giving fortunes to the cities and counties and states so that the cities and counties and states can run their own internet company and provide you free internet service. So the cities will basically say, hey, are you a resident? Let's look at the water bill, the electric bill, or something like that. Yeah, you are. Here's the username and password. You're connected. The next check is literally overnight. You're going to see the benefit in your wallet. You would go into the pharmacy, let's say on a Monday, fill a prescription normally, let's say it's $30 you pay, and this becomes law on Tuesday. Well, guess what? They're going to slash the prescription medication prices. So the next time you go in there, instead of taking a $30 out of your wallet, you would take, let's say, $10, leaving an extra $20 savings in your wallet. Wow, we are just getting started on the big world exclusive of this recording. We're going to go over the second half, what all the Democrats have now said to viewers of this channel, going through one at a time, the months, the payouts, the advocacy, because your advocacy is really working. New details from Jayalapal, new details from AOC. Then we're going to be cutting to the big other world exclusive about which side votes first. This is huge, and my reporting is now being picked up somewhere else. I'm going to explain to you what's going on with that. Then we're going to cut to the big money available under third stimulus, as viewers now for rent, utilities, and food can get another round or expand their amount of money. And if you never got it before, now's your day. And then we have a big little slide update about this stimulus in view of what's happening with Wall Street. It's a big day. And I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as the excitement on Mornings LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. The excitement continues on Mornings LA, live from Santa Monica as the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. And guess what? More Democrats step forward and say they're taking care of the situation. Of all the latest details in a world exclusive you're only hearing on this channel. Then we'll be cutting back over to that additional $13 billion landing in Kenny cities and counties and states. There's a lot of money, and now the nonprofits are stepping forward. I'm going to go over how you get these big sums of money in this recording. Then we cut back to where the vote starts is very critical in the equation. I'll have a world exclusive you're only hearing on this channel. It's a big morning, and I'm excited you're here. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Coming up next is Mornings Crypto at 10 o'clock. Stay with me. That's coming up next. Then 11 a.m. noontime. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Thank you for becoming part of this incredible growth. Last week, our biggest week in nearly 3 months. Also, like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Control, Purple Power. The link is in the video. You want to get all those big sums of money. I want to cut to that big sums of money right now. This comes as a big surprise to all of us that no one saw an additional $13 billion coming out from the federal government. What's going on? The federal government identified another $13 billion for third stimulus that's going out for rent utilities. So every single state and county everywhere will have this money starting this week. This is huge, especially if you had reached out and they said, we're out of money. They won't anymore. Let's go over all the details of this right now. The big surprise is that the money for rent and utilities and all these sums of money have gone up nearly 200% because Purple Hawks are pouncing like I've never seen before. When I first started covering rent about a month ago, these were the numbers. Elizabeth, Purple Hawk, $27,000. But late last week, Jen got nearly $40,000 of rent. When we turn to the money for utilities, this was the numbers about a month ago for Purple Hawks. But Mark's brother-in-law over last week got $15,000 for utilities. Wow. Imagine going from $5,000 to $15,000. The growth has been incredible. When we talk about SNAP, you're going to meet someone, Mark's brother-in-law, who got $21,000. And now that's heading to $26,000. Oh my goodness. Get a pen, paper, and cell phone ready because I'm going to show you all this big money right now for you to get. Today is your day. We're going to go over how to get some money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance, and SNAP. First, here's 6 places I'm going to show you where to get the money. Reach out to all 6. 6 of 6. If one says no, reach out to the next. You do not have to necessarily be behind on your rent, and they have different eligibility and different pots of money. Number 2, listen to the keywords I say in this video. And number 3, I have a surprise for other places to get the money for them. All right, here are the 6 places to reach out to. Your city hall, your city housing authority. Your county hall, your county housing authority. Your state hall, and your state housing authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. That's rent or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. There you go. Let's go over those 6 places again. City hall, city house authority. County hall, county house authority. State hall, and state house authority. Now, here's what you need to know. Is that if for some reason you reached out to all 6 about a week ago or 2 weeks ago or earlier, and all 6 of 6 said, sorry, we just ran out of money, then pick up the phone today because every single state and county, repeat every, including Republican, including the smaller states and the bigger states, will have this money. It's $13 billion. If you're a member of this channel, in the newsletter starting tonight, you're going to see the link to the article so you know about this money. Call them up and say, hey, I want to be on the waiting list. Can you put me on the waiting list? Or do you have the money? Can I call tomorrow? It's like Kevin Lee in 2020. He heard about Dallas going live with their money for rent. It was gone in 3 days. So you want to be first in line. Next, I want you to reach out to all utility companies because you may have 5 utilities. 5 utility companies can also pay money. Remember, utility assistance because of COVID. The big surprise is the nonprofits. The nonprofits were featured on this channel in fall 2020 and early 2021 in a show called Purple, where I showed you how the nonprofits were picking up money for these items with different eligibility. It's not the federal government's money, it's their money. Well, about 4 days ago, I started recording about the nonprofits again, unknowing whether they're still paying. And yes, they are. One viewer said, my goodness, within 24 hours of you mentioning United Way for the first time on this channel, I picked up the phone and called. And they said, no one's calling for rent. I'm first in line. Then, yesterday, one viewer for another nonprofit said, "LA, thank you for that recording. I'm getting a brand new refrigerator, a brand new furnace, and they're fixing my window, my broken window." All right, here are the five nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul. Each place has different types of operations across the country, and they really, really help. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Finally, remember the holiday season is just around the corner, because if you want holiday gifts, well, get ready for Salvation Army. They start to take care of those in September and October. Let's turn to the money for SNAP. SNAP is money for you get food you get from Department of Agriculture. Eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. And Mark's brother-in-law was sitting on $21,000 a year because of my recordings. Now he's going to get $26,000 a year. What happened? Department of Agriculture is raising everyone's benefits up an average of 25% automatically nationwide lifetime starting in October. Now, I know this has caused some confusion for some viewers. Why? Because you previously were on a stepped-up basis because of two executive orders, which expired in September. So you're getting a letter saying, "Hi, your raised benefits are ending in September." There will be another letter right behind it that says, "Hi, your benefits are going right up again, starting in October." There should be no lapse of period across the board. Then let's go back to those unemployment benefit checks coming. Oh boy. The states are returning unemployment benefits that you were overpaid due to computer error. Average payment is $2,000 to $5,000 for viewers of this channel. Check your state for tracking time. And then finally, the refund check from IRS that you paid taxes on that 2020 unemployment benefits. Average payment is $1,200 to $2,000. Margaret got it, Con got it, Michael got it. To track it, go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. And yes, if you're in the live chat and if you've gotten any of these sums of money, post your success story right now, because when you do, you inspire other people to get these monies. Finally, if you've not become a Purple Hawk or a member, Purple Power or Calcino VIP, the link is under the description. Daily, I deliver the big money available for you under first, second, and third stimulus out to you in our newsletter daily. And now I'm including the nonprofit starting tonight and also including the $13 billion cash infusion. What I want you to understand is that if you've gotten some of this money before, get more money. Get more months of money. Get money as far as you can go out in the future. Get as many months of utilities as you can get as well. And if you didn't get one item because they said it was out of the money, now pounce and get that big sum of money. And with that, we go into the final 15 minutes of this video with the big exciting details of that world exclusive you're only here on this channel, as the Democrats, one after another, tell viewers of this channel they're doing an IRS MSC. Let's go over the world exclusive starting right now. It started 8 weeks ago. 8 weeks ago, there were some naysayers who said, "I don't know, I haven't heard, I haven't seen." And I said, advocate. Advocate. Pick up the phone and say, "I need it. My town needs it. My community needs it." And WR was one of the few viewers who did it. He picked up the phone and called Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's oldest confidant, and advocated for a stimulus check. I said, "I need it. This is why I need it." And Senator Chris Coons' office said, yes, he's doing a monthly fourth stimulus recon check in that reconciliation budget bill. World exclusive, there you go. WR once said in a recent day, when one viewer was in the live chat saying, "I'm praying for this," he said, "Prayer's good, but calling is better." And he's right. About 4 weeks ago, I reminded viewers that the budget bill will likely again be written by the House Democrats. But there's a Senate Budget Committee as well, and its chairman is Bernie Sanders, as I have been reporting. And also, as I have been reporting since the month of June, Bernie Sanders got the price tag of $3.5 trillion for you. He negotiated, so he's very important to the equation. 3 weeks ago, Bernie Sanders said the following to press. Unlike prior budget chairmen in D.C., I like to get out amongst us D.C. and get amongst the people when I'm writing a budget bill. I said that translates as he wants to hear from you. He wants you to advocate to him what you think belongs in the budget bill. And at the time I said advocate. Margaret did, Lynn Glenn did, and Brother Joshua did. What does advocacy look like? Let me show you what advocacy looks like. I need a stimulus check because this is what's happened to my family because of the pandemic. Or this is why I need a stimulus check from my church because of this is what's going on with my church. My community has been ravaged. I'll tell you about my community. Let me tell you about my business. Let me tell you about my town. Let me tell you about my family and my sister and my brother. Let me tell you why this is so important to get a stimulus check. That's advocacy. So that the person on the other side of the phone gets emotionally attached to the story you tell them. They don't get to see you. They may have never seen your town. They may not even know your town, but they can certainly feel emotions. And when you can deliver a very impassioned advocacy for what you need, they will get off the phone and say, wow, I can't believe this conversation I just had with this person. It absolutely showed me the importance of doing this. Let me show you what's not advocacy. Treating elected officials like a UPS tracking tool or a FedEx tracking tool. Will, when, how, will it, is it, isn't it, when, is it, how? No, they don't want to be asked a lot of questions. They want to advocate. Elected officials were elected to office to advocate for you, and when you advocate with them, it's a match made in heaven. And that's what Brother Joshua did 3 weeks ago. When I said to advocate to Bernie Sanders, he did. Brother Joshua is a 2020 volunteer to the community page, Purple Hawk and longtime viewer of this channel, and he advocated. He picked up the phone and said, I need it for myself, my church, and my family. And Bernie Sanders' staffer said yes. Senator Bernie Sanders will be putting a monthly stimulus check in there. $1,000 to $1,400 a month, 3 to 6 months. But he needs to see your support. We got this, Purple Power. And at the time I said, advocate. Pick up the phone and advocate. And then the floodgates started. You started doing incredible, incredible work. Here is Donnie. Shortly right after the Brother Joshua update, Donnie did the following. I called up Bernie Sanders' office and I said, this is why I need it. My city needs it. I need it to progress. I need it for my water. I need it for everything. And I called Bernie Sanders' office and the secretary said they're going to be doing a fourth stimulus check. And she said, okay, they're doing a fourth stimulus check. Then Hurricane Tina picked up the phone and she advocated. And I called Bernie Sanders' office and got through and they said they're putting another fourth stimulus check in there. Then Caroline in our 7 o'clock a.m. countdown show really advocated well. I picked up the phone and I told her that people are losing their homes. They are losing what they got. And she agreed. I called Bernie Sanders' office and talked to his secretary, and Bernie is putting a fourth stimulus in there, she said. Then Yaya picking up the phone and advocating for a stimulus check and more with Ron Wyden's office, who said that they're considering SS200 in there. But then, after I had told you to pick up the phone and advocate and show Bernie Sanders your support, I also said, pick up the phone and call other Democratic senators, call other House members. And the incredible update came with Will. Will picked up the phone and showed us that you don't just call one office, you call multiple offices. And here is what Will reveals. I spent the day yesterday calling around and I called Senator Bernie Sanders. I called Senator Elizabeth Warren. I called Senator Chuck Schumer's offices. And all three of the secretaries confirmed they're doing a fourth stimulus check. I explained my situation and how a fourth stimulus check would make a huge impact. And I was told, yes, it's happening. Elizabeth Warren's office asked me what kind of check I would think would be sufficient, and I explained I like the American petition. And they said they are on board with it. They said Senator Warren is considering $1,400 to $2,000, 6 to 12 months. Bonnie, in one of the live chats the other day, when she saw that, said, I almost choked on my food. I couldn't believe how excited I was. We have an incredible update from Senator Casey via Lorica. Lorica, a longtime viewer of this channel, says, I picked up the phone. I called Senator Bob Casey's office finally. He's on the Committee for Aging. He's pushing for a lot of money for the elderly and disabled people. And the girl I talked to in Bob Casey's office said, yes, they're in negotiations right now for the amount of the stimulus checks. Wow. And then viewers started turning to the House. Over the weekend, I said for viewers to start calling House members, AOC, Jayalapal, Omar, call Omar. And Paul did. He called AOC. I called Representative AOC, spoke to her secretary, and was told that according to her, the Congresswoman AOC wants to add a monthly stimulus check in the $3.5 trillion bill. AOC wants it to be $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for 12 months. AOC staffer assured me that AOC will be putting it into the bill. Take care. That is Paul. And then for the first time on Mornings LA, you see the update from Janice about Jayalapal. I've called every congressperson and I called Jayalapal and they said, yes, they're doing a forced stimulus check in there. And there you go. Coons to WR, Sanders to brother Joshua, Warren to Will, Schumer to Will, Casey to Lorica, Wyden to Yaya, AOC to Paul, and Jayalapal to Janice. And we're just getting started because this is what advocacy does. Advocacy involves saying why you need it. House and Senate, they need to hear from you, including Omar. The more they hear it, the better. This is what happens. This is what happens when they hear advocacy. A potential conversation between Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, for example. Hey, Bernie, this is Liz. You can't imagine how many phone calls my office is getting, really impassionate, advocating for a stimulus check. Liz is Bernie. I'm getting the same number of phone calls. And Chuck tells me he's getting it as well. I just got off the phone with Bob Casey. He's getting a lot of phone calls. We got to take care of this. We have to. I'm hearing incredible passion, pleas, and advocacy. These people talk. They're negotiating currently the remaining 8,000 potential pages of the reconciliation budget bill. And as they talk, they say, have you heard the phone calls I've been getting? I've been getting the phone calls as well. Advocacy works. Now, let's cut to some other world exclusives. Nearly 3 months ago, I told you that the House Democrats are the ones who are likely to author the reconciliation budget bill. I was right. The first 645 pages released were written by the House Democrats after Senate and House Democrats agree upon the provisions. Now, this is huge because the next item I've been reporting exclusively on this channel is I believe the House Democrats will vote first. There is new indication today suggesting my reporting is correct. There's indication suggesting the House will vote first. This is big because if AOC and Jayalapal take care of the situation and do right, then there's nothing needed for the senators to fix. Everything will be taken care of on the House side. Remember, House Democrats love to spend money. If the House votes first, that's great. It's also great because the senators voting second or last, I love. The senators would then vote last in a two-day vote-a-rama. That two-day vote-a-rama gives the senators the opportunity to make changes to whatever is given to them from the House side. Now remember, these are Democrats of Democrats, so no Senate Democrats can remove something written by a House Democrat, but they can modify the numbers or add something in. And that is why it's important when we have Coons, Warren, Schumer, Casey going last in the voting, boy, that really helps. Let's go over to fifth stimulus just for a second. Fifth stimulus starts in September, out for a later vote by about November, December, raising your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, and SSA. Step one is they're going to raise your benefits up. Then they're going to apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation, and inflation's going higher. I'm saying about 5%. That means your benefits will go up another 5%, not just next year, but lifetime. Then they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to 1960s law. It's going to go away. And the marriage penalty is going to go away. And you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest like Rob and Sandy and no longer fear the marriage penalty. Will there be a fifth stimulus check? They represent there will be. And then finally, it's important to understand the importance of becoming a Purple Hawk. I want you to become a Purple Hawk. The link is in the description. Member of this channel, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Because daily I deliver to you all the big money available under first, second, and third stimulus, nonprofits, and that additional $13 billion cash infusion. I want you to get as many months into the future as possible now. So if you got some money before, get more months of money. Remember, nonprofits have different pots of money. They have different eligibility than the federal government. They are doing incredible stuff across the board. Let's recap. Third stimulus, fifth stimulus, fourth stimulus. Fifth stimulus out for a vote later this year. This is the SSI reform. Third stimulus already law, but an additional $13 billion cash infusion coming from the federal government gives every county and state more money for you for rent. Get first in line. Call them right today. The money may be there today. It may not be there for a few days, but you want to be first because it won't be there forever. Also reach out to the nonprofits and consider becoming a member. Fourth stimulus. Democrat after Democrat coming forward and saying, I want to do this for you. Advocacy works. Advocate by explaining your emotional situation, why you need it, why your town needs it, why your community needs it. Advocate for the importance of the item. Then, the first 645 pages of the reconciliation budget bill, written, released. Checks for hazard pay, essential workers, checks for seniors, checks for individuals, $51,000 of MSCs, checks for caring for the elderly, $4,000 a year up to. Money for bikes, vehicles, and cars and trucks. Second cluster and third cluster are some of the other clusters. There may be 20 clusters. These are just the clusters I know. You want to hope the House votes first because it will be very beneficial for you, and the House will continue to draft the legislations. The House and Senate are both in session, and meantime, Wall Street is very jittery right today. Wall Street is down because of a series of external factors, like the Federal Reserve meeting Tuesday, like concerns about Delta, like concerns about supply chain, getting product in from the ports, very, very big issue. Inflationary concerns. So this is huge, and it all plays well into the situation for us. I'll have more about that coverage on Mornings Crypto coming up at 10 a.m. Then I'm back with you live on air at 11 a.m. with noontime with more exciting details of this recon. Then 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock with Afternoons LA, 5 o'clock, and then our incredible new schedule that people love. A show every hour, on the hour, starting at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11:30. So with that, I'm so excited for you on a big day, and I want you to subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Hit that subscribe button. Be part of this incredible family. Like the video, 3,000 likes. Every like helps. Thank you, Purple Patrol, for all your wonderful work. Keep on doing Purple Patrol. And don't forget to sign up for the LALATE alerts so you get alert when a new video goes live or any breaking news. And stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the crypto coverage will be here starting in 5 minutes from now.